What up, people? Pushing Wild Black here, and this will be a kind of a random test vlog, I guess. Excuse me. I actually have my computer set up completely at mom's house, and I have Wi-Fi now on my mini. So instead of bouncing, because what I did when I first got here, one, we didn't have a set spot for it yet. So I would kind of have put it on the back, in the back den, on a trunk, and have it bounce off my phone, have the internet signal bounce on my phone. So I really didn't have a lot of a good recording setup. I still don't, but it's better. It's better now because I can upload. I think I can upload easier instead of. I think the last vlog I did was in May. I think Tom Thibodeau just got fired, and I did one with my buddy Anthony Joslin, and it took about a day or so to upload correctly, and it just because I did editing and it was nuts. So I kind of stopped vlogging because I didn't want to. And then when you bounce stuff off your phone, when you bounce your internet access off your phone, like if because at the time my phone only had the Wi-Fi password, so I would like make a complete. I would make a mobile hotspot from my phone, and my Mac Mini could use that to use the internet. Well, when you're uploading something and you do that, all your data like goes. So I kind of stopped doing YouTube stuff, and I stopped recording vlogs for my YouTube channel. Me and Ant were doing like dark shows for a project that me and him are doing, the Pushcast. But this will be a test vlog to see how my Wi-Fi handles uploading. So this will be kind of random. I don't really know how long it'll be, so we'll go from there. So many things that I missed out on: the Jackie Robinson West story, the the Jackie Robinson West story, the Sandra Bland situation in Texas, the other situation that happened in Texas in McKinney, um, the ADA turning 25. I really don't. Well, I'm gonna say something about the ADA thing just because uh, it comes back to what I want to talk about today. So, but all the other stuff, I'm really not gonna have an opinion on it because the moment is past. I might bring it up in other vlogs, but right now, this is just gonna be like a what's going on with me and what's the future of pushing Wild Black, because I just started it, and then I moved to Chicago, and I stopped recording just when it was beginning. So we're gonna go from there and see how it goes. Well, um, how is the transition from Dallas to Chicago? Um, well, what I came here to do, I haven't had luck as far as trying to find a graphic design job or a job somewhat in my field here. That has not had really panned out well. I haven't really been on. I've been on 3 interviews since I got here, and I moved back. I touched down in January, and I've gotten 3 interviews since I got here. One was for um, it was a sales job. It was for an insurance company. One was another sales job. It was for a lawn care company, and one was a department store greeter. None graphic design stuff. So I did check out a couple of agencies. That didn't go out very well. And then I'm still I haven't been in Chicagoland areas in about 13 years. So I'm still kind of like learning my way. Like I know Dallas like the back of my hand. I'm still kind of learning my way here from the south suburbs to getting in the city and stuff like that. So and all the design. Like I signed up with Creative Group on their online stuff, so they send me like they'll send me jobs and stuff. But I tried to meet with them and it didn't go well. Not that they were bad, but I have to meet with them in person, and I just haven't really had time. And then a lot of the jobs that they're sending people on email are like in the north suburbs, and I'm in the south suburbs, and I'm kind of like, well, I don't really know if I want to do that yet. So I've been looking for full-time work, and it really hasn't panned out well. I've been trying to do call center stuff, and it really hasn't panned out well at all. So I ran. I was running out of unemployment. Actually, I was on my way to moving back to Dallas. It was, but the job that I was going back to, because I worked for an insurance company I worked for a medical exchange rather, for I want to say during open enrollment season. So that was like 4 or 5 months, and they were getting people back for the season for this year, and I was on my way to go back. I had the train ticket and everything, and I had a doctor's appointment. The couple things that I wanted to do when I came here was I wanted to see how the design market is in Chicago, and for me, I just haven't got my foot in the door yet. And two, there was some medical stuff that I wanted to take care of, and a couple things I got done. Like I got new glasses. I got my wheelchair fixed partially. I had like messed up bearings on my chair. I got those fixed. I bought some brakes for my old school quickie GPV. So I need some help with putting the brakes on. And but other than that, like my wheelchair is functional. My little one is functional anyway. And my other one, it'll take me because I want to refurbish that one. But it might take because I got to do it myself because government insurance, which I'm on now, doesn't pay for that. So most insurance doesn't pay for that actually. So I'm not even gonna say like government or not. But so and I got glasses. I got some of my wheelchair being fixed. There's some other health stuff that I wanted to do. Like I have a cardiologist that I see. The cardiologist has been having me go to different appointments for the past like few months. So when that gets knocked out the way, I don't really know what I'm going to do. I might stay here. I might go back to Dallas. I don't know. But the medical situation has been easy and it's been a quick. But as far as the graphic design situation, that really hasn't really panned out well. So I had the ticket. I was on my way to back to Dallas, and I was in the doctor's office, and I got an email because they had hired me. I accepted the position. They sent me an offer letter. I did all my onboarding paperwork, and they sent me an email saying that the job was going to be 2 weeks because I was leaving like that weekend or like a week after the doctor's appointment. And they sent me an email saying that it'll be 2 weeks off. It'll be 2 weeks past that appointment. So it'll be like the end of August. And then they sent me another email like a week later saying that the spot in North Dallas that they had said that they did last year, it's not going to be in North Dallas, but it's going to be in another suburb, Irving. So, and the shifts are weird. They're not taking early shifts. So I worked from 8:30 to 4 or 8 to 4:30 rather last year, and they were like, "Well, you can only work late shifts. Do you still want the position?" So not only is it in Irving, which I've kicked it in Irving. I know Irving well, but my people are in North Dallas, so I was like, "Nah." And then they said the late shift, they only want people that can do late shift. And Irving from Irving to North Texas on the bus or vice versa, rather is kind of it's kind of far. And the late shift, I know when the late shift is. The late shift there, I think, ends at like 9. So I was like, nah, I'm not trying to do that. So I declined the position. And before that, I was here and I had ran out of my unemployment, exhausted my unemployment. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to Dallas, get this money. Because it was really good money. And then it was like, well, we figure out what I want to do next. See the go see the doctor, and kind of figure out what I wanted to do next as far as like the design thing, or as far as where do I want to live. And when that situation didn't pan out well, I was kind of like, well, what do I do now? Because I think before I had been looking that like the first like 5 months I was here, I was only looking for graphic design jobs. I wasn't even looking for anything other than graphic design stuff or photo editing stuff. I tried to do freelance work with some companies. That really didn't work out well. And about May, I want to say, I started applying for just in general office work and call center stuff. That's when I started getting like some call center interviews. And then when the situation in August with the insurance company didn't pan out, then it was like, okay, now I got to start hitting up retail again. And I didn't really want to do retail because retail, in my experience, has always given me like seasonal work, which is maybe 2-3 months during the Christmas season, and then they let you go. So I started looking for retail stuff, and I found a job in a department store as a customer service ambassador. And in layman's terms, that is a greeter. And no, I am not wearing a blue vest. It is not that company. But it's basically, they were loss prevention. Now they want to switch it to customer service. So basically, I'm part of a team full of former loss prevention guys, and we're greeters. We hand out coupons. If you walk and one of those sensors, one of those shoplifting sensors goes off, then that means the tag is they didn't remove. So basically, I either remove or desensitize the tag. So that's my job. I've been doing that since August, and it's interesting. It's a very interesting job. The pay isn't all that awesome from what I'm used to making, but I'm really not paying any rent here, so it's fine. You do get a chance to meet a lot of people. Like, I met some real cool people doing the gig, some real cool customers, because I open in the mornings. And in the mornings, like, if you know anything about retail work in the morning, you're basically, it's a lot of mall walkers. So I know all the mall walkers by face, a couple of them by name, and like I met a Vietnam vet because his wife was shopping and he was bored and he saw me there, giving directions and stuff. Because I also do that. I also give directions throughout the store and tell people where the bathroom is. So his wife and friend were out shopping. He was bored. He didn't feel like sitting on the couch or whatever. So he decided to shoot the breeze with me for like a half an hour. And started talking about Nam and working for the post office and stuff. So that was cool. I've also met a substitute teacher. I also met a photography student rather. I'm probably going to be a part of his, semester ending project or something because he asked me to take a picture. What else? I met a couple substitute teachers. Yeah, it's an interesting job. It's cool. I will say this though, it's a job, and it's what I'm about to say like is gonna suck. It's a job that I would, well, I wish I was making more money. We'll just put it like that, because this is gonna be on, and I don't want to. So I get the whole I get the whole like people that want minimum wage to be like 15 an hour. I don't believe that, but I get the argument because I know people that have been in that position for a very long time or been working in retail for a very long time. Matter of fact, one of very cool dude that I work with, he was trying to do. He's been trying to get into loss prevention, or been doing loss prevention in retail in general for about 15 years now. So, I get it, man. Um, I don't know if I agree with 15 an hour, but I understand the argument now, and I didn't before. Because it's a real cool job, but it just like, I look at my paycheck sometimes and I'll be like, wow. Because when you're used to making, as a photo imager and as a graphic designer, I was making $17 an hour. And now to be making half that, it sucks. But it's a cool job and I really like the people and stuff. One thing I do want to say though, and this is going back to the ADA 25 year anniversary thing. I don't understand the whole reasonable accommodation thing, and this is why. I applied for a position, and you know how, like, when you apply online, I really can't say that my situation, my job situation has been ableism, because most of it has been online. The two interviews that I did go on before this one, I can't really tell that if it was ableism or not. One I can kind of guess, but the other one I don't know. I think there was a better qualified candidate, but I don't know. One, it was I don't know, because I came in on my walker and I didn't really have a lot. It was a sales job, and it was a straight commission sales job for this insurance company, and I didn't know, but I think it was, because it really wasn't about, he was like, it really is not about like experience, it's about a good fit. And I think I came in with my walker and it kind of threw him off a little bit, so it's whatever. I can't really say that it was though, but I don't know. But the other interview that I went on he was real cool, but I couldn't really place ableism. And then with the retail gig, they didn't even mention it. Matter of fact, they didn't even mention my disability at all. They were just like, "Do you want the gig? Like, do you sure that you want the gig? Because we saw that you did this, and we definitely can't pay you what you made doing the design work, but do you still want the job?" And I was like, yeah. But anyway, back to the ADA thing. When you apply for stuff online, there is a reasonable accommodation thing that every online application says, right? There's a couple of things that I kind of have issues on. One, it's weird because, and this ties in with the this National Disability Employment Awareness Month thing. It's weird because it's like we have this ADA turning 25 thing. And as a child of ADA, I get it. It helped me out a lot as far as going to school, as far as getting educated, as far as accessibility. Because I remember what it was like before 92. Okay? So, or 1990 rather. I remember what it was like before 1990. And I remember, I was one of those kids that a school did not allow me to go to. I was not allowed to go to a school that was in my district because teachers didn't want to teach me. Like, I remember graduating from kindergarten and going to a school that I ultimately ended up graduating 8th grade from, because it was one of those schools where everything was all together, but it was just in different parts of the building. So we went K through 8th grade, and I remember going to first grade, and I was gonna go to that school, and I think my mom had to go up there, and every teacher did not want to teach me, and I ended up having to get bused to a special school in the next town over from me, because teachers didn't want to teach me and stuff. I also remember going to Dallas and how catching the bus in Dallas with my mom, there were no lifts at all. So she had to I had to get up the stairs myself, and she had to put my chair on the bus. So yeah, now the fact that we have lifts and we really have, fold out ramps now, which I'm gonna get into later because I'm seeing something weird here. It's it's cool. So, and there's some other things that I remember as a kid pre ADA. Now that like I'm like wow, and like the evolution of ADA from 1990 to before 1990 to 1990 to now. But the thing that how I always say ADA is a broken law, and it goes bringing back around to this online application. Nobody, like, we're educated. We got all this education, all our, for the most part, we got sidewalks and curb cuts. But until we get to the point where I'm, until we get to the point where I stop reading articles about how 70% of the disabled population isn't working, and how, government agencies are the only real agencies that are trying to hire disabled people, and we have to work in the public sector almost. And even then, public sector, agencies like Ability One is stealing money and really not doing what they're supposed to do. The ADA is a broken law because it doesn't matter if I'm educated and I'm able to like go on buses and stuff when I can't get a job, when I still have to be reliant on government assistance, which for a while I wasn't, but I know a lot of people that are, and I know a lot of people that struggle with employment. And one of the things that I had an issue with was the reasonable accommodation provision when you look for jobs. Specifically, when you look on when you ask for one concerning an application. Like, I applied for a job, and basically it went like this. You get to a point in the application where they ask for a reasonable accommodation. And I hit the button for a reasonable accommodation. And as soon as I hit the button for a reason, there was a question, there was like a questionnaire, and it says, are you able to do X? And I said no. And then then there's a reasonable accommodation option. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do my reasonable accommodation here. Everything will be fine. So as soon as I hit no, thinking that I can do the reasonable accommodation thing, and it had nothing to do with the job. It had something to do with training. And I was like, okay, I'll just hit no here. And then as soon as I hit no, and I answered the question honestly, they sent me an email saying this job is not a fit for you. Go check our website for other opportunities. And then boom. And I didn't save the application. The application wasn't saved or anything. And I wasn't done. Like, this is midway through the application. So then I go back to I go back to the application and I answer the way they want me to answer. I didn't answer honestly. I answered the way they wanted me. Finished the application, and I didn't really never got a response. So it's like, okay, if you answer a question honestly, and then try to use a reasonable accommodation to fill out the application, or to at least finish the job, to at least begin the job, what's the point if they're gonna automatically just reject you? And there's a thing that I'm seeing too, like, you get hidden requirements, I want to say. Like, it'll be a job that has nothing to do with, let me rephrase. It'll be a customer service job. Now, I've been in 2 call centers in the last year. One, I really didn't. It was my first call center job. I really didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't know what to ask for. Now, I've talked to people. My homie Anthony Joslin, which you'll probably hear on more of these, he's been doing call center stuff for a while, and he knows a lot more about reasonable accommodations than I do. And now he has his opinions, and he has a lot, not opinions, but he has more experience than me as far as that goes. So when I did my first call center gig doing collections, it was hard, but they found another job for me to where, and I think I mentioned this on another vlog, they found another job for me to where I can do it. and they kept my money the same, so it was cool. And then when I worked for the insurance company, for the medical exchange rather, they had sticky notes. So all my notes and everything that I needed to type, I ended up by like halfway through the season, I had my sticky notes like all over my paper or all over my computer. So I copied and pasted everything because basically the job was reading. So there are ways that you can cheat, but it's funny that like we have they make you take a typing test. You can tell the recruiter before like jobs will make you take a typing exam, and they'll tell you, you can tell them beforehand, like my typing skills aren't really good. Can I? And at the time I didn't even know about like I knew about Dragon, but I never really used it because I didn't like it. Because I tried to use it academically, and I really didn't like it. It really didn't work for me. So, but the typing exam, like it's never posted on the job. It's never posted on the job posting. It doesn't let you, like manual labor gigs, they tell you got to lift at least 50 pounds. So a lot of times I don't even know, I don't even apply to those. In some situations you got to climb and you got to like, climb upstairs and stuff and everything. And it's just kind of like, so I don't even hit those. But then you get situations where, you can ask for a reasonable accommodation to do the gig, and that's part of the ADA or whatever, and it's like they don't give it to you. And now they're putting little paragraphs saying that you have to do the job regardless of a reasonable accommodation or not. And it's like, okay, if you're going to put that in there, what's the point of having reasonable accommodations then? Like, what's the point of that being in the ADA if people are going to write little like paragraphs saying that, oh, we don't have to hire you with the reasonable accommodation? I've read articles about this. So it's like, why have it in the ADA then? See, this is why, because it doesn't matter if we got curb cuts and we can catch the bus, but we can't get gainful employment. Like, it doesn't matter. Like I'm a big, as far as this disability rights movement goes, I'm big into everyone should have an opportunity to work. For the people that can't work, fine, I get that. For the people that don't want to work, fine, I get that. I don't understand it, but I get it. But me personally, like, I want to work. I came from a working class background, and we were taught, like, okay, a man works. And I feel like I have 2 degrees. I have an award as a graphic designer. I feel like you should have that opportunity to, I should have an opportunity to work. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in the public sector either. Like, I did the whole federal government thing, and you know what? It really wasn't for me. Like, and I know people that work in the federal government now. Two of my two of my very good friends actually, work in the federal government now. And I know a few people that work in the federal government now. You know what I learned 2 years in? It really isn't for me. I'm not saying I'll ever do it again. I get a, really? Someone always trying to, of course. Call from H&H Edit now. So we're going to wait for that to stop. Anyway, I've done the whole federal government thing, and I realized 2 years in, it really wasn't for me. I'm not saying anything against the people that have government jobs. I'm not saying that I'll never do government work again. Heck, I'll probably end up doing government work because I get it is stable and stuff. But at the same time, it's like, that shouldn't be our only option, man. And it just sucks that, like, there's really nothing in the ADA, or there's really nothing out there that can help us, get employment, like gainful employment. So now I'm working retail. Like I said, it's a cool job. I don't mind it, but it's just, it's part-time and it's minimum wage. Like, it's cool that I can do it because I don't have any other responsibilities except some, personal debt that I have. But you really can't start anything on that gig, on that type of gig. So I just feel like as far as the ADA goes, um, it's broken to me. Like, and with the National Disability Employment Awareness Month, and I probably said that wrong. Until those numbers change consistently, it's a broken law. Like, curb cuts aside, yay. And oh, by the way, as a four-wheel pedestrian that catches a fixed route bus, we don't have the curb cuts in major cities are Chicago, like in the city limits of Chicago, is awesome. I haven't been to New York. I've been to Reno. Everything was cool in Reno. I didn't live there, but everything was cool in Reno. Um, I've been around a little bit, and in the major cities, we're fine. But I'm gonna be completely honest. The curb cut situation and sidewalk situation sucks. And and I've actually tried to get sidewalks made in certain parts of Dallas, and it's hard. And it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of energy to do it, and it's hard. So we don't even have everybody's like, we got curb cuts. Yeah, in certain parts of the city you do, but in certain parts of the like even here, there are certain parts of the south suburbs that don't have sidewalks. There's certain areas. Also, as far as snow goes, in the city, it's different. Like in Chicago, cool. But there are certain parts of Chicago, when it snows, you're not getting your sidewalks shoveled. So as a person like me that uses public transportation, not paratransit, not the door-to-door service, because I don't like paying $3 a ride and $6 a day or more, depending on where you're going. And I don't like scheduling rides. I like being able to um, go when I want to go and leave when I want to leave. I did paratransit for a couple of months and I hated it. And I hated it, and and in Dallas they got something called feeder fares where you can kind of use DART system, and you can use paratransit on like halfway, so it cut down on the money for me. But a couple times I had to do door to door. I hated it because it's like I didn't really like planning for stuff. I just like you still got to plan catching public transportation, but I just didn't like paying $3 for door to door service when I can pay basically $2 for a day pass and I can catch multiple things. So my point to that is, as a person that takes, fixed route public transportation on regular city buses, like we really don't have a world that's like conducive to us. I know that like we have cutoffs and sidewalks and stuff, and we have curb cuts and everything, but really we don't everywhere. It's not everywhere. It's only in certain parts. And it's really bad when you're in winter cities and it snows. And I'm about to go. Hopefully, excuse me. Hopefully, we have a mild winter. Cause last winter, and I really wasn't out in it last winter. I just noticed how my neighborhood was. Um, I'm hopefully we have a mild winter, or hopefully, like if I do decide to leave, I'll leave before we have a major storm or anything. So I really don't have to deal with it. But if I'm here another winter, like I have to deal with snow, and it sucks. And it sucks bad when you're on regular public transportation. So yeah, there's issues that the ADA really, we don't really think about at all. And when and I'm pretty sure I'm going to get this when I'm out there or I'm pretty sure I'm going to get this when I post it. Why don't you take paratransit? I personally don't. I don't like it like that. I've taken it. I don't like it. I have a rant about the way Dart Paratransit does their cabs, just because the cab drivers, some of them, I had a crazy cab lady. So nah. So yeah, that's basically my I didn't even want it to be 35 minutes, but it's 35 minutes. Um but yeah, that's basically my rant about the ADA and how broken it is. Um I just I don't think the reasonable accommodation thing is real. Like, what's the point of having it if employers don't use it? I'm kind of being vague because I don't want to put the company that I applied to on blast or anything. But like, I've ran into that before. I've had people that run into that before, and it's like, okay, what's the point of having reasonable accommodation and ADA? Like, I had a friend that told me about like his experience in an insurance company where they literally have like an ADA, person that makes sure they hire people with disabilities, and she couldn't even do the reasonable accommodation right. And he's not working at that insurance company because of it. So I don't know. I just with the 25 year anniversary of the ADA and the National Disability Employment Awareness Month being almost over, I just had a little issue that I have with that in general. I don't see it as being I don't see the ADA as being complete. We've done a lot. Trust me, pre ADA, and I do remember pre ADA, even though I was like real little. Pre ADA and ADA now to now, it's awesome, but we still got a lot of work to do, especially in regards to employment and attitudes. Because my biggest thing with the disability rights movement and this vlog, and it might be a podcast, I don't know yet, is perception. And one of the things that is perception and attitudes. And one of the things that I'm kind of still struggling with is, yeah, like perception. Because I still get by me working with people, I get it's so good to see you working. It's so good to see you out. Like, it's so good that I get a lot of old people patting me on the shoulder for wanting to work and stuff, and I get a lot of old people from other countries feeling bad for me because I'm in a chair, because I take my chair with me when I go to work. So you really can't get mad at people because I'm in a public place, and I really can't like try to teach like people about disability when they're shopping. But I get that a lot. But one of the things that that what I'm talking about with perception and attitudes is I have issues with, and I know drivers, and I know bus drivers. My mom's a bus driver. She drives little kids around. I still get kind of attitudes a little bit. It's not as bad as Dallas. Like, the cool thing about Chicago is we have so many, like, I don't want to say disabled people here, but we have a disability pride parade. We have advocacy groups here. Like, the advocacy groups in Chicago are way better than the ones in Dallas. They just are. So to me, like, the bus situation in Chicago is way better than Dallas. It just is. Like, Dallas just got to the point where they got foldable ramps. Like, last maybe 2 years ago, Chicago's had these same ramps for about 10 years. Cause I was here about 10 years ago, and they had just unveiled them. But and they've been like, the buses are really cool here because like they have a thing to where you can bump into them and they lock your chair in, to where the bus driver really doesn't have to do a lot of work. So even if you get a bus driver that doesn't want to do work, you're still secure in the chair. Whereas in Dallas, I had to fight and train drivers to lock me in. Not literally fight, but I had to argue with drivers because they didn't want to lock the chair in. Whereas now I really don't have to do that anymore. The only thing that I kind of get weirded on, and I've only experienced this with one driver. The lifts here are really weird, and they don't. This is weird. Like the the buses in Dallas, their fold out ramps, they hit the ground. So the incline off the ground isn't really heavy or isn't really like high. So you can push up to at least where the handrails are, and you can grab up to the handrails and push on the bus. So it's really easy to get up the ramps because the incline isn't that nuts. Whereas in Chicago, the way they did the bus, it's weird because the incline is like you're basically off the ground. So getting up is like it's real steep and it's I don't really like going up there because you can fall. Now a lot of drivers they're like, well, they can help you up or they usually let me get on first. So somebody behind me is always gonna push me up the hill and stuff. So I'm fine, and then I pay my fare because I gotta pay bus fare here. Dag, I missed Dallas Paratransit Pass for free. That was awesome. But yeah, I pay my fare. I go back in on the bus. It locks me in. Cool. Bus driver either locks me in. They ask me where I'm supposed to go, where my drop off point is. I answer. They if they want to, they can lock me in secure. And I've never had to deal with a lap belt. They always ask if if I need a lap belt, I always say no. With dart drivers, they always assume that in Dallas, dart drivers would always assume that, man, if the lap belts secure the chair, and they don't secure the chair is still moving. But the one thing that I do get though, like I'll get like every once in a while, I'll get a driver that doesn't want to help. Like I'll get a driver that doesn't want to help. I'll get a driver that like I'll be there by myself, and then she'll instead of her getting off the bus and helping me, she'll ask like one of the passengers that were already on the bus to do it. Or this is weird, like her ramp didn't work because her ramp is like it didn't work. Like they do like this electronic thing and it lowers the bus on the hydraulics and the ramp flips open. Well, her ramp didn't flip open. So she's like, it didn't flip open. And as she's about to leave, I'm like, well, ma'am, I can get on the bus, just help me get the chair. So because everybody's so used to letting me on the bus first here, or letting disabled people on the bus first here, I had somebody help me get on the bus, but she didn't want to use a tool. I've seen drivers use a pen. I've seen drivers use pliers. I've seen drivers use like a knife, a putty knife to open the lift up. She didn't want to do that. She didn't even want to try to do it. So, and I've only had to get on this one driver because I basically told her, I'm like, you got to get some pliers or something because you should never leave a disabled passenger with that bus, ever. You should never try to leave one with that bus, ever. And it's like, those buses were specifically designed so you don't leave a passenger. Or so there's no reason to leave a passenger. And she's like, well, I tried. I had a tool. It didn't work. I'm like, you didn't use it, though. So the attitudes that a lot of people have that like, well, I shouldn't have to do extra work, that kind of bothers me still. But other than that, the bus situation is a lot better. Like I haven't really had to argue with a driver. I haven't really had any run-ins with drivers and stuff. The job situation is I like it, but I would just wish it was better. But other than that, this has been like an interesting year. I have realized that I didn't know this, but I realized that I really miss Dallas, and it was pretty important part of my life a little bit. So, you know, like Texas OU weekend was hard because usually me and my brother, we go, and me and my brother and his wife now. Um, I'm saying now like they just got married, but his wife, usually it was, what I mean is it used to be just us doing it, and then like my sister-in-law started coming, and it's been kind of a tradition. So this is the first time that I haven't been there. So it's like, okay. So then they won because the last couple times we've been there, like they got blown out, and this time we expected them to get blown out, and they didn't, and they won, and they beat OU, and I think my brother didn't go out, and I watched it. It was one of the few Saturdays I was off, and I watched it at home, and I'm sitting there like, man, I should be there, but I don't know. Anyway, this is 45 minutes, which will probably be a good test as far as uploading goes when I go and upload this. And anyway, I ended up talking about what I wanted to talk about. So if this goes well and this ends up being on YouTube, I'm probably going to do one with Anthony about opening night in basketball. And as far as the future of this vlog, it'll be more some randomness about whatever. I'm going to I got to figure out what I'm going to be doing in the next couple of months as far as one, staying here in Chicago, or do I want to go back to Dallas? But that's another video. And I'm going to try to involve some people, not necessarily on the disabled thing, but I'm going to try to, because this is going to be more than just disability rights and my thoughts about disability issues. It's going to be kind of about other stuff. Like I kind of want to do sports things too. So it'll be about that mostly. There's a couple of round tables, and this will be a lot easier if I go back to Dallas. There's a couple of round tables that I want to do with some friends. But yeah, this will probably be more, if this works out well and it's not a pain to upload, I'll probably do these probably once a week, and we'll go from there. But anyway, Pushing Wild Black out. Later.